Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from ClearVue Technologies. Please note, you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Martin Dial, Global CEO of ClearVue Technologies, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol CVUEF and on the ASX under the symbol CPV. Welcome, Martin.
Yeah, hi Cecilia. Thank you very much for that introduction, and thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you for your interest in ClearVue. So let us start. As you will know, I'm going to take questions at the end. So please, very, very happy to answer any queries at the end of the presentation. So what are we about at ClearVue? We generate electricity from clear glass and use the entire surfaces of buildings, the entire external surface of buildings to generate power. We operate in a quasi-mandated environment, which means that just under 150 countries have adopted a net zero economic target. We have an issue globally that just over 40% of the global CO2 emissions are generated or attributed to the built environment, which we are addressing. And construction overall, globally, shows no signs of slowing. We've got just over 6 billion square meters under construction globally at this present time. So this is the market that we are addressing. A brief technology overview. So as I said, we generate power from clear glass. How we do this is that we activate an interlayer in our glass that are the activation is through nanoparticles that we add to the interlayer. And when the sunlight hits the glass, the particles make the light scatter, and the glass is redirected to the edges of the glass where we embed solar cells, little solar cell strips that then pick up the light and convert it into power, into electricity. At the same time, obviously the light or the energy that hits our surfaces and is turned into electricity does not go inside the building. So we are at the same time reducing cooling loads inside the building, which is a very big advantage, because in modern buildings today, where you have a lot of glass surfaces, the main challenge for the engineers is actually how to get rid of the excess energy that comes in through those windows and glass units. We have developed a technology that is very easy to incorporate into existing window technology or window elements. So the way this works is we have a plug-and-play system where we supply components to our license partners. The license partners are existing glass companies that have operating automatic glazing lines that make the window units. So we provide them with the components, and it takes just under 5 minutes to convert a normal window or to add our technology to then convert a normal window into one that is generating electricity. It is thus highly scalable, because clearly we can have theoretically as many glass companies as we are able to sign up. Currently we have 11 existing license partners. It has a minimum disruption for their processes. As I said, it just takes under 5 minutes and is thus, as I mentioned, ultimately limitless scalable. We at the bottom here, you see, or in the middle at the bottom rather, you see a window that we have recently made with an interested party in the Middle East. It took them, I think we had a 2-hour training session with them to assemble the componentry and integrate it into the window on their existing glazing line. With our technology, the target, or to reach the target of a net zero building, is within reach. We are not only addressing the window areas, these clear vision areas that you see here on the right hand side, but we are also providing components and products to the license partners that allow them to cover pretty much any vertical surface on buildings. So at the top here you see our solar cladding, and then in between the windows you see what we call a spandrel section. So these are also areas that can be covered in PV technology, thus using the entire external envelope of a building to be a power generator, an electricity generator. And that does lead to almost gets to, or in some cases gets to a net zero target, which means that the whole building can be energized using PV technology. So we've done some assessments. We have used what is called an archetype, which is a simulated or virtual building, and we have applied our technology and have asked a third party, an independent, recognized engineering company in Canada, to apply the technology across this virtual building in various locations globally. And we have been able to demonstrate that when the technology is applied and some roof area is also added, that we can get to a net zero building in 27% of the cases. I think we looked at 15 cities, global cities worldwide. We get very, very close to net zero in 33% of the cases, and we have a significant energy reduction, or a reduction in energy consumption in 40% of the remainder. We have also looked at financial payback and carbon payback, because clearly the financial payback is a critical evaluation that our clients will undertake before proceeding. And we, again, can demonstrate that in 40% of the cases, if you use the technology and cover the whole surface area of a building, you get to payback periods between 3 to 5 years in 40% of the cases, 6 to 8 years in just under 50%, and then the rest still significant payback periods, so significant short payback periods. We are continuously expanding our portfolio of solutions and product offerings. So we started, as you can see on the bottom left hand, with our Vision Glass Generation 1, which was a triple glazed system. It performed as we wanted it to perform. It was generating electricity, and it was very transparent, meaning it allowed a lot of light through. But it took about 2 hours to make, and introduced other process steps in the factories of the glass companies that they usually do not undertake, such as soldering, the wiring, and so on. So that is why we embarked on the development of Generation 2, which, as I mentioned, is a plug-and-play system, very easy to adopt. It follows the normal glass technology, the depth of the edge space around the window unit, and so on. So we're not introducing anything new. As I mentioned, it only takes 5 minutes to adopt and make a normal window into a solar panel. And then we added the spandrel solution and the cladding solution to come to an offering that covers the entire vertical surface area of a building. Obviously, to be a global player, we need to comply with the various global requirements. So we have the first one was to demonstrate mass scalability and the ability to go into existing production lines. We are not dependent on a high level of capex to build, say, glass spattering lines where you apply coatings directly on glass. Our process for the license partners is very, very simple. And we demonstrated this, as I mentioned, by adopting the technology, incorporating the technology in under 5 minutes on an existing glazing line with one of our partners in Asia. We have recently announced to the market that we completed fire testing, which is very crucial for anything that for any facade material that is applied vertically on a building. So we have demonstrated that we are achieving an A2 fire class, which is a very, very low combustibility and would not require additional fire engineering for the application of our technology on buildings. It doesn't require sprinklering the surface or drenching it with water and so on. So it is that was a milestone, a very important milestone. We are continuing with the product certification. We have to certify both in the US and also in other areas which accept the IEC standards, and we will be updating the market shortly. But everything is going very successfully. We have protected our IP. On our board is a IP specialist, an IP lawyer that since the foundation of the company just over 10 years ago has been actively ensuring that we are protecting our developments. We have more than 150 active patents and design rights currently in various constituencies around the world, mainly Europe, America, and Middle East. The Inflation Reduction Act in America is offering us huge opportunities because of the incentives that brings in the US. And we have recently attended the AIA show, the show for architecture and design in Washington. And our product offering was extremely well received. And I'll be covering that a little bit later. And then our branding, we are focusing obviously on the branding to make the market aware of the existence of our product and making sure that we are being specified at the selection process of a building, because once we are in those specifications, then it will be easy for our license partners to comply with to offer or to supply the product to the various projects. It's an important step. We need to be specified at the top of the product from the outset, really, when all the designing and all the engineering process takes place. As I mentioned, we already have 12 active licenses around the world. These are the license partners that are engaged. We are leveraging on their existing glazing lines to supply the market with our product. Some of the license partners are distributors, so they don't have their own production lines, but they are able to obviously distribute our products in their respective markets. And we are in active discussions with numerous other license partners. For us, the license partner is, of course, the most critical element in our revenue model, because we supply our components to the license partners. We sell them the components. They also pay a royalty fee to us. So each license partner is a multiplicator. As I said, the interest that we're receiving from these potential license partners is always a validation that they have looked at our technology, they have assembled some of the early prototypes for them, and they have deemed that the technology, that they can easily adopt the technology. So it's very significant to have these license partners joining us on our journey. We have also developed a product that is in use for greenhouses. That is a product that is specifically designed to fit into existing grid sizes of greenhouse structures. And obviously, we are generating electricity through that. But we have also found that by adding the nanoparticles and changing the light in the glass, we are positively impacting crop yields. So for specific plants or rather crops like capsicum, tomato, and snow peas, we have significant crop yield increases in the greenhouse, in some cases in excess of 170%. So the proposition of generating electricity, crop yields, with also the associated significant water savings, as our technology if you use the insulated product, significantly reduces evaporation and water consumption, is a fantastic use case for, say, the Middle East, which is striving towards food certainty without relying on external imports of food. Our business model is based on generating revenue through license fees, but the majority will come from selling our components and a margin, which is in the double-digit figures. And also we receive a royalty per square meter of glass sold, which has our technology included. As I mentioned, the distribution model is through the license partners and IGU manufacturers. So we also leverage on their existing sales networks. They will have contacts to local architects and construction companies and developers. So we don't have to build up a big sales network ourselves, but can focus on the raising the brand awareness. And clearly, we are continuing with R&D development to get a high efficiency in terms of the power generation, and also adopt new technologies such as the spandrel and the cladding that I mentioned earlier, all leading to an increase in long-term shareholder value, obviously. So the value stack that we offer, the technology drives economic uplift. The green buildings or buildings with a green, a particular high level of green certification demand a rental premium, and thus are ultimately more valuable. We are generating operational savings through the energy, through the electricity generation, and also the heat gain reduction, which obviously leads to operational savings for the landlord or the tenant. We are generating power, and also we are addressing the tax outcomes. The purchaser can benefit from the tax incentives that are being given, particularly by the U.S. government through the IRA Act. And we are also addressing ESG performance objectives. Many funds that own properties have ESG requirements in their portfolio, particularly addressing, of course, operational energy savings, but also the carbon payback. So as we are generating electricity, the embodied carbon within our technology is paid back within a short period of time. And then from that point onwards, we actually have a positive contribution towards reducing the embodied carbon by generating electricity and not needing to buy electricity from the grid that comes obviously with burning fossil fuel. Well, it depends on the area in the world, but a lot of areas have quite intense grids, meaning a lot of fossil fuel is obviously burned to generate that power. The markets that we're focusing on and that we're addressing are huge. The skylight market in itself is worth about 5.5 billion by 2030. Commercial PIBV is destined to increase to 88 billion by 2030. The greenhouse market is worth about 50 billion by 2025. Infrastructure projects such as bus stops that we could apply, that we could address, uncover with our technology, is worth about 81 billion by 2030. We see a lot of opportunity with prefabricated homes, which are nice because they always have the standard sizes on windows. 2030, the market is destined to be 10 billion, and then home improvement is huge with 500 billion by 2028. All markets that we can directly address with our components. Our competition, it is good that we have competition because that we know that there is a demand out there and that people are looking towards the solutions we're offering. But we believe in comparison that our easily scalable technology, very easy to adopt, not requiring large capex investments, the electricity we generate, the carbon paybacks, and the ability to deliver large scale windows. So we've made windows up to 12 feet by 3 feet recently, or 4 feet. That is our strength, and we've demonstrated that. We actually displayed in Washington recently very large units at our stand. Business pipeline, we've got more than 50 active projects in the pipeline that we are discussing with the various clients. We've been following our roadmap, and we've been delivering to that roadmap, certainly with the mass manufacturing that we've demonstrated. We've secured a couple of projects that we advised to the market, one in America and one in Australia, and we are waiting for some order confirmations very, very shortly. And the testing is ongoing very successfully, as I said, with the fire testing. So yes, we are delivering to our roadmap. And we see in 25, 26 onwards a mass production at a very, very large scale in supplying to numerous licensed partners around the world. Just another summary of the next 12 months. As I mentioned, the product certification, we're actively marketing, increasing brand awareness. We are in the process of buying an ERP system to ensure that we have a tight control of our processes, particularly in ordering components and supplying to our license partners. And we're maintaining our focus on R&D. We have a very strong and experienced board. Our non-executive chairman, our founder, Victor Rosenberg. There is myself with more than 30 experience in the curtain walling and external envelope industry. We have Jamie, who is a legal specialist as far as IP protection and patent technology. We have got Honecker, a non-executive director in Germany, actively working, positioning us with various opportunities. Chuck Mowry actually has joined us now on a full-time role. He is a executive director now. He's extremely well connected in the USA, and he was appointed as North America CEO and president in May. We're very happy to welcome him. And then Harry is our secretary. Okay, key messages, very competitive. We can offer a lot of competitive advantages. We have the ability to scale and generate electricity through clear glass and other surfaces on the building. We are delivering into substantial demand that is driven by regulation and changing consumer behavior. We have third-party validation and accreditation of our systems. It's a high-margin business model. We have a pipeline of projects that we're addressing and have secured the initial revenues, and we have a very experienced management team on board to deliver. That is just an overview of the current the position. We've got about 220 million shares on offering. Our market cap is just under 120 million Australian dollars. Okay, and these are just some photos of the recent AIA show. Fantastic reception there, showing our products. We've got more than 150 active leads and cooperation opportunities. So very, very successful outcome from last week. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I'm now inviting questions. I have a few here. Let me just a second, please. Okay, here we go. Just need to open up that. Okay, first question. Who are 2 or 3 of your top competitors in the photovoltaic cladding market? How do their offerings compare to your products? How's your business model similar or different to theirs? How strong is your patent protection? And is there a way to build a moat against competition? Okay, so moat against competition clearly are the 150 active patents and design rights that I mentioned earlier. We also think that there is a lot of know-how that has gone into, particularly in making sure that our technology embedded in Windows maintains the seals in Windows and so on. So it is not easy to copy at all. There's a lot of trial and error involved. So we do believe there is quite a barrier for others to copy. We don't think we really have a competitor in the clear vision area. We know that there are a few companies that are trying, but they are either they are not as transparent as we are. We have a 70% light transmission. We don't change the color of the glass, to make it brown or blue or so. And so our main competition is really a client deciding actually not to apply the technology. Okay, I'll take the next one. You announced a project in Atlanta 2 years ago. What is the status of that project? Okay, admittedly, I'm not sure which project you're referring to in Atlanta. I'm not sure. Sorry, I cannot answer that. I joined the business a year ago, so yeah, I'm not able to answer this one. Next one. Can you talk about the Inflation Reduction Act in the USA and how the 30% tax credits impacts you? Yes. The 30% tax credits impact actually our clients because they can have tax credits when they adopt the technology because we fall under the act by virtue of us being a solar technology. So that obviously is a case-to-case analysis needs to be done, but that is a big benefit for anybody using our product. We should also, because we are the units actually made in the USA, they're assembled in Florida currently by our license partner AIT. So they also should get the local content, which is another 10% tax credit. Okay. How many fabricators have you appointed? As I mentioned, we currently have 12 active license partners, and we are discussing probably with another 20 large glass companies at this very moment to add to our license partner network. There is another one here. How do maintenance costs of your cladding solutions compare to current maintenance costs for traditional cladding? There is no difference. You need to clean the glass. There is not any difference. There isn't really any maintenance that needs to be done with us, with our technology being added. Another one. What is the status of the building project in Atlanta? This was announced. Okay, I already answered. I cannot provide an answer to that one. The next one. Can you discuss your sales and marketing channels? Will you have a direct sales force? How will you generate awareness about your offering? Okay. As I mentioned, we're focusing on brand awareness. So we are presenting on shows such as AIA, which was fantastically successful in Washington last week. We are also attending a Greenbuild in Philadelphia in November. So this is what we're doing at a corporate level. Obviously, various social media, LinkedIn and so on. But the sales force will also be our license partners. They all have a sales network, as I mentioned, dealing with local architects, builders, developers and so on, so that we are not planning to have a huge network of our own sales team. That's actually one of our advantages of the license model. Next question. Are you concerned that a Trump victory in November could reduce the IRA? Obviously, none of us knows what will happen in November, but what we do know is that a lot of the Republican states are also benefiting in a big scale from the incentives in solar. And I would hope and think that once incentives are provided, that they also would want to keep them, because obviously it's in the interest of their respective states. So we would hope that whoever wins that the IRA Act will remain in place. And perhaps more political sensitive topics such as electric cars are used to make a statement, but actually the solar investments and benefits remain in place. Okay, next one. Are any of your photovoltaic products sourced from China? Can you source from alternative countries? Yes, at the moment they are sourced from China, but we are looking at sourcing elsewhere, particularly from the US and Europe, and that is something that we will seriously undertake in the next, say, 12 months to 2 years. Okay, let me just check for some further questions. What is the cost difference between cladding a building with your solution versus using traditional cladding solutions? Okay, we believe that we add about $150 per square meter. That's about $15 a square foot. Probably about adding 10% to the cost of the curtain wall or the cladding. If you assume that the cost of glass in a curtain wall is about 20%. These are just very rough estimates because it really depends and needs to be reviewed from case to case, by case to case. Next question. Who are 2 or 3 of your top competitors in the photovoltaic cladding market? Okay, I think I may have answered that. We don't think there is anyone out there that can supply large windows, clear vision windows currently on the market. Our main competitor is actually building owners deciding not to apply the technology. Okay, I think I've come to an end. Thank you all very much for your questions, for your interest in ClearVue.